Hello, book friends. It's a rainy Saturday here in Maryland, so I thought it would be a great time to give you some book reviews because I've been reading a lot and I haven't been posting a lot, so I have literally quite the pile of books that I wanted to share with you. It's been a couple months since I've come on here to do a review, so bear with me. So I'm going to do the nonfiction that I read first by Brad Meltzer called The JFK Conspiracy. I love reading Brad Meltzer's historical books because even though they are not historical fiction, like they're completely fact, they read a lot like a novel and you learn so many interesting things. The JFK Conspiracy talks about the actual first assassination idea for Kennedy, and it was long before his actual assassination, and how a postal worker helped save the president's life. Great book. Definitely recommend. 5 out of 5 stars. The next one is called The Warm Hands of Ghost. So it's a little bit historical fiction, just a little bit, because it does happen during World War I, but the majority of it is fantasy. And similarly to The Book Thief, where Death is the narrator of the story, Death plays an important part, an important character in this book. But the main theme, I would say, is a love between a brother and sister and the lengths they go to try to save each other. It was a little slow to start, but I would give this a 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it once I got in, and once I got into the story and started seeing all these threads that the author was weaving in, I really had a hard time putting it down. The next one I did post a video about and nobody said they read it. So The Parliament, very interesting book, very different. There are actually 2 stories going on at the same time. One is in the current time, and the other one is a fairy tale that one of the characters in the main timeline is reading to the kids under her care. I have to say I enjoyed the fairy tale more than the actual story, but I still think that I am missing something, so this will probably be a reread for me at some point, but I did enjoy it, so I'm going to give it about 3.5 stars out of 5. The next one is The Book Eaters. It's a fantasy story about a breed of people, for lack of a better word, who literally eat books. But along the lines in their evolution, there are certain ones born where they're not satisfied with just books. They actually want to eat people, and those people that they eat become a part of them. Again, out of the box, not my normal read, but I was really intrigued by the idea and I'm really glad I read it. Again, it was very hard to put down, so I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars. The next one is a 5 out of 5 stars for me, called The Sirens. Earlier this year, or maybe it was late last year, I read Emilia Hart's book, Wayward. Absolutely fell in love with it. So when I heard that she released a new one, The Sirens, I definitely had to read it. It's a very interesting story that takes place in 2 separate timelines, and it comes together at the end, and it's a beautiful picture of the power of women. And I just really enjoyed it. It was one that I read probably in 48 hours. It was a weekend and I was recovering from being sick, so I had some extra time to read. And I'm really glad I did. I loved the magical elements of it. But I love when magic interacts with the world that we live in just little ways. It just makes my little heart so happy, and I love this. I love Sirens about as much as I loved Wayward. So definitely 5 out of 5 stars for me. The next one I read is the Boxcar Librarian. This one I ended up liking. I wasn't too sure at the beginning, so I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 stars. It was a little confusing the way the author time hopped at the beginning, but once I got like the groove of what the author was doing, I really, really enjoyed this book. And it's based on a true story. There were 2 aspects of it that I found very interesting. One, I never knew that the government paid for out of work writers and out of work people during the Depression to write these travel books that were handed out throughout the country. And the idea was that they would tell the stories of these states where the people hadn't gotten to visit, to kind of build a sense of community. And as I was reading it, I was like, wow, we kind of need something like that today to help bring us together. The other aspect was the fact that they had these librarians who would put together libraries and go around to the different mining camps, and how important of a part that played in helping educate both children and the adults who were away from their families. So really good read, set in Montana. I don't know a lot about Montana, so it was a good window into that state's history. Going on about time periods that I don't know a lot about, the berry pickers. This has been all over the internet. Lots of people have talked about, so I was able to pick it up and able to read it, and I really enjoyed it. It's about an Indian family who lived in Canada but would come down to Maine to pick berries every year. And on one of those trips, the youngest daughter goes missing, and talks about how the family tried to find her, and then you find out what happened to the daughter. And it's a really good story. I really loved it, but at the same time, it made me sad because I realized how many of these types of stories actually happen that we don't know about because things aren't reported as much as they should be. So it was definitely an eye-opening book, a book that made me feel uncomfortable in parts, but a very good and important story. And I would give this one a 4 out of 5 stars. Anyway, that's my pile of books. I'll come back soon. I'm still reading. I finished my class, so I have about a month of no homework. So I plan on doing a lot of reading. I would love to hear what you guys are reading, so feel free to share in the comments. If you don't agree with one of my reviews, I would love to hear why. And if you do, love to hear that too. Anyway, talk to you soon. Bye. Make sure you like and subscribe.